Something remarkable unfolded in a federal courtroom just moments ago, and the repercussions are rippling across the justice system and the political world in unexpected directions. A key figure closely tied to Donald Trump, someone who's long been involved in high-profile disputes yet always appeared untouchable, has now been taken into custody on accusations that reach well beyond the scope many experts had predicted. This isn't merely another legal filing destined to grab attention briefly before getting lost in the constant stream of political drama. What we're seeing could dismantle long-standing legal strategies, bring to light hidden connections that were meant to stay concealed, and possibly draw in individuals with even greater prominence than the person now in handcuffs. Stick with me through this entire breakdown, because the events playing out right now stand to alter the course of several active probes, introduce fresh risks for Trump personally, and force a real examination of whether those at the highest levels of American politics can ever face genuine consequences when laws are violated. If you're looking to grasp the full chain of effects from this custody situation and why federal authorities view it as a pivotal advancement, please consider liking this video and subscribing. That way, you won't miss detailed examinations of the legal and political shifts shaping our nation's future. Picture the scene from earlier today at a residence in southern Florida. Federal officers arrived with an arrest warrant in hand. They informed the individual of their rights and led them away. Someone who, only days earlier, had been on right-leaning outlets, standing up for Trump and criticizing the investigators. The formal accusations filed at the same time in federal court caught many legal watchers off guard. For quite a while, talk centered on possible money-related offenses, election funding issues, or interference tied to sensitive records. Instead, the government has brought forward counts centered on conspiracy to interfere with justice, attempts to sway witnesses improperly, and providing untrue information to federal officials. The response from Trump's attorneys, from GOP members of Congress who've backed this person, and from much of the conservative commentary sphere has ranged from stunned disbelief to outright alarm. This move doesn't align with the story they've promoted, one of overzealous authorities targeting political foes with minor technical violations. These are claims of deliberate interference, organized steps to shield materials, direct influence over what people say under oath, and repeated dishonesty that weakens the entire set of arguments Trump's associates have put forward. That's precisely where the trouble starts. This isn't some minor player on the edges of Trump's world. This is an individual with deep insight into several inquiries, present during critical discussions and gatherings. Federal teams have spent months pressing this person to switch sides and assist. The decision to arrest rather than secure their help indicates talks collapsed. Prosecutors clearly feel they hold solid proof capable of securing a conviction, and they're ready to apply this case as a tool to gain assistance that could extend much further upward. To see why this custody event is creating such widespread concern, something few predicted, it's essential to look at the broader legal picture and what these particular accusations signal about the direction of the cases. Interfering with justice doesn't stand alone. It points to an active matter being blocked, materials being kept from view, and statements being shaped improperly. Here, the interference links to at least three separate but related federal and state efforts: the handling of classified materials, the events surrounding January 6th, and possibly the probe into election activities in Georgia. From what's publicly available in the filing, authorities contend this Trump associate took part in organized actions to block access to proof, guide potential witnesses on their accounts to grand juries, and fabricate records designed to mislead investigators about the true events. These aren't vague suspicions drawn from loose connections. The documents point to concrete exchanges, specific encounters, and clear steps, backed by records, audio, and accounts from others who've already decided to assist. Why does this extend far beyond prosecuting one person? Because interference accusations build what attorneys refer to as a ladder of involvement. Establish that several individuals work together to block justice, and you open the door to conspiracy counts. Those offer prosecutors clear benefits. Statements from one participant can apply to others, charges can cover the full group regardless of individual roles, and it pushes those lower down to provide information on those higher up for lighter outcomes. That's the structure prosecutors seem to be assembling. Their goal isn't solely to win against this one associate. They're creating a structure to go after the entire group engaged in the interference, potentially including legal advisors who guided document decisions, campaign staff who managed witness interactions, and possibly Trump if proof emerges that he authorized or knew about these steps. What makes this especially harmful to Trump's overall approach is how these interference claims weaken the explanations offered in other matters. Proving active blocking of inquiries makes it tougher to portray the situation as unfair targeting. Tampered statements raise questions about reliability of accounts Trump's side has used. Hidden materials suggest awareness of wrongdoing instead of innocent conduct. Now, consider the political fallout this custody has ignited, because the courtroom aspects are only half the picture. This arrives as Trump leads strongly in Republican primary surveys, as his court battles have actually boosted support among party voters, and as many assumed legal actions would unify Republicans behind him rather than erode his standing. This development pushes back against that assumption on multiple fronts. It delivers tangible proof that individuals in Trump's close group engaged in grave violations, not mere procedural slips, but intentional blocking and witness pressure. That complicates efforts by Republican office holders to brush off related inquiries as purely partisan. It raises the real prospect of someone providing direct evidence against Trump. And it shows authorities remain committed to pursuing notable figures even amid strong political resistance. The deeper political strain lies in what this reveals about patterns some have tried to minimize. It's easier to support claims of honest disputes over record-keeping rules. It's far more difficult to justify widespread interference in federal matters, especially when it includes pressuring witnesses and concealing proof. Republican lawmakers now confront difficult decisions. Backing the person in custody means appearing to support interference and witness influence. Pulling away invites criticism from Trump and his supporters. Remaining quiet risks seeming indecisive or lacking principle. This isn't the first such bind for Republicans in the Trump period, but the clarity of these accusations, the apparent strength of the proof, and the potential reach to Trump make it stand apart. Defending the associate requires explaining away not differing legal views, but active steps involving witness pressure and evidence hiding. That's a tougher position to maintain. This places Republican leaders in a broader bind. Persistent defense of Trump and associates amid emerging proof risks, implying the party stands above legal standards. Acknowledging any overstep invites scrutiny of Trump's own responsibility. Democrats have their own strategic choices. The current administration has stressed separation from Justice Department actions to preserve independence. Yet this event will inevitably fuel partisan debate, Democrats highlighting it as confirmation of concerns over conduct, Republicans labeling it as misuse of authority. Democrats must pursue accountability without letting the process appear driven by politics. Cases viewed as partisan tools lose force with Trump's supporters and may even reinforce his position. What occupies the minds of those around Trump, though few voice it openly, is the chance this detained associate decides to assist authorities and share details directly linking Trump to interference efforts. That's the core aim here. Convicting this one person isn't the main priority. Prosecutors seek what this individual can reveal about Trump's involvement in blocking inquiries. The incentive to assist is powerful. These federal counts carry lengthy prison terms. Conviction could mean years behind bars, affecting personal life, finances, and family. Authorities have likely outlined how assistance might lead to sharply reduced penalties, little or no incarceration, and safeguards for relatives who could face scrutiny. But assisting comes with heavy downsides. Trump has a record of publicly condemning those who speak against him, using his influence to question their credibility, and hinting at future rewards for loyalty or consequences for disloyalty. Anyone weighing assistance knows the label of traitor awaits, along with fierce public criticism, exclusion from conservative circles, and lasting damage to reputation. It creates a true conflict. Assist and risk Trump's retaliation, but possibly escape severe punishment, or remain loyal in hopes of future relief if Trump regains power. but face conviction and extended imprisonment otherwise. No obvious choice exists. It hinges on assessments of Trump's chances in upcoming elections, reliability of any relief promises, and ability to endure the fallout of being seen as disloyal. Prosecutors grasp these pressures. They've designed their approach to heighten the incentive while lowering cooperation barriers, likely promising discretion for as long as feasible, options for testimony without immediate public exposure, and security measures if required. If cooperation occurs, the effects spread widely. Details on Trump's role could strengthen matters in classified materials, January 6 efforts, and possibly state-level cases. It might reveal improper guidance from legal counsel that overrides traditional protections. It could trigger others in the circle to reassess and follow suit. That's the scenario Trump's legal group now fears most. Not isolated assistance that can be challenged, but a series of people coming forward with consistent accounts of interference plans, Trump's direct part, and broad efforts to conceal information. Once momentum builds that way, reversing it becomes extremely challenging. This custody fits within a larger web of inquiries surrounding Trump. Grasping those links explains why this feels like such a major turning point. These aren't disconnected efforts. They overlap in witnesses, topics, and goals, potentially forming a unified picture against Trump. The Classified Materials Review examines improper retention of sensitive information and resistance to its return. The January 6th matter looks at actions to challenge the 2020 outcome and block official processes. Georgia focuses on attempts to alter certified results through state contacts. Related reviews touch on business and funding issues. This associate connects to several: involvement at the Florida property with records, participation in discussions around January 6th, and awareness of ties between legal and political teams. Prosecutors want more than isolated facts. They seek accounts that link the probes, reveal consistent behavior patterns, and show awareness of wrongdoing through repeated interference. Proving obstruction in one area strengthens the case for knowing intent in the underlying actions. It suggests issues weren't mere oversights. This threatens Trump's management of these cases, treating them as separate, attacking each on narrow grounds, and blocking any from seeing the full context. Cooperation that connects elements dismantles that approach. Information sharing across offices becomes possible, cases reinforce each other, and juries see comprehensive patterns instead of fragments. Defenses effective in isolation weaken when the bigger view emerges. Risks compound, success in one increases likelihood in others. This follows standard practice in major inquiries. Pursue related conduct thoroughly, trace leads fully, leverage insider help for thorough cases. Beneath the legal details lies a potential constitutional challenge. What if strong cases build against Trump, yet he secures the 2024 win before resolutions? This possibility grows more realistic. The Constitution lacks clear guidance on prosecuting a sitting president. Department guidelines discourage it to avoid disrupting executive duties. But that's internal policy, not settled law, and untested against someone indicted prior to office. Options create problems: dismiss cases post-election, implying victory grants immunity; proceed during presidency, risking branch conflicts; delay until term ends, postponing justice potentially for years. No path avoids serious issues for accountability or governance. This morning's arrest heightens urgency. If cooperation accelerates matters, if charges mount during a campaign, voters could elect someone facing multiple serious accusations. Democracy allows voters that choice, but success can't automatically halt prosecution that risks turning power into protection. We're approaching uncharted territory. A former president campaigning under indictments, possible voter choice of someone convicted, questions over self-pardons or compelled trials for a sitting president. Institutions face tests the founders didn't foresee. Where do things stand now? What lies ahead in the days and weeks as this develops? What does it mean for politics and legal standards? Expect immediate, strong pushback from Trump, labeling it persecution, framing the associate as punished for loyalty, portraying the system as biased. That will echo among supporters, spread through friendly outlets, and gain traction from aligned lawmakers. The detained person's attorneys will push back aggressively, claiming excess by prosecutors and positioning their client as targeted unfairly. Behind closed doors, though, discussions about assistance options, evidence strength, and possible agreements will occur. Others in similar positions will reassess. Does this shift the calculus? Does it make assisting more viable or riskier? Prosecutors will leverage this to build pressure, prompting everyone nearby to question potential shifts and disclosures. Politically, this becomes another element in larger stories about Trump party responsibility and system fairness, shaped by emerging proof, any assistance, and choices by officials. Over time, this tests real accountability in polarized times. Can authorities pursue influential figures amid fierce opposition? Can courts deliver fair outcomes when defendants command huge audiences to challenge the process? Can juries focus on facts amid claims of bias? Answers emerge live through these cases, prosecutor decisions, potential cooperators' choices, and political reactions that either bolster or weaken legal integrity. At its heart, more is at stake than one person, one set of charges, or Trump alone. It's whether we preserve a system holding the powerful to account for violations or move toward one where influence effectively shields from consequences. That answer depends not only on court results, but voter reactions, whether Republican officials prioritize legal standards over party ties, and whether institutions endure intense strain. Keep following closely. Look beyond surface arguments to the core issues of responsibility and governance under pressure. Recognize this custody matters not just for the individual involved, but for what it shows about handling powerful figures who may have crossed lines. If you value coverage that digs past partisan framing to examine real implications, subscribe and turn on notifications. These developments shape whether we remain a nation governed by laws or one where political strength overrides them. Thanks for staying with me. I'll be back with updates as this extraordinary situation continues.